Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Business Growth Made Simple podcast, where we help business owners build strong teams, grow healthy profits, and take control of their business without losing their sanity. I'm your host, Steve Stauffer, and today we're continuing our series on the 5 levels of leadership by John Maxwell. Now, if you haven't listened to the first 2 episodes, level 1 position and level 2 permission, I recommend you go back, catch those before you finish this one, because they lay the foundation for what we're diving into today, which is level 3, production. Now, if you've ever felt like you're doing all the right things, showing up, building relationships, encouraging your team, but the results just still aren't where you want them to be, today's episode is for you. Now, as you recall, level 1, people follow you because they have to. You've got the title. At level 2, people follow you because they want to. You've earned their trust, but at level 3, people follow you because they respect what you actually produce. And this is where leaders really start delivering consistent, visible results. It's the turning point in your leadership journey, the moment when your influence becomes performance. Yep, think of it like this. If level 1 is the ignition switch and level 2 is getting the engine warmed up, level 3 is when you finally start moving down the road. At this level, your leadership is no longer theoretical. You're gaining traction. You're building momentum. You're not just leading meetings, you're actually delivering outcomes. Because respect is what people see when you accomplish something, and that respect becomes fuel for the entire team. Now, let's get real. Results do matter, honestly. You could be the nicest, most inspiring person on the planet, but if your business isn't producing results, if there's no profit or no growth, no progress, something's broken. In Maxwell's words, production qualifies and separates true leaders from those who merely occupy positions. Think about that for a second. Production qualifies your leadership. It proves you're not just in charge. It proves that you're effective. At level 2, you've built relational capital. But at level 3, you're going to spend that capital to get things done. And here's the key. Don't miss this. Results create momentum, and momentum is the leader's best friend. Momentum covers small mistakes. It energizes the team. It attracts new people. It's what makes leadership feel fun again. But without results, momentum dies. And when momentum dies, morale follows. So what does level 3 leader look like? Well, let's break it down. Number 1, they're going to lead by example. Level 3 leaders never ask people to do something they wouldn't do themselves. They show up early and they follow through and they do what they say they're going to do. Their credibility does not come from a title. It comes from their track record. I was talking to a guy today who used to be in leadership. He decided he wanted to get back into sales, but basically because he wanted to make more money. I can't blame him. But on the leadership role, he had salesmen come up to him and say, "It's easy for you to say that, but until you can prove it to me, I don't believe it." So he would often grab the iPad and start selling on the floor of the company he works for, which was interesting because he was a good salesman. He could sell no problem, and he would outsell most of his people on the floor. And it was just funny when they would start to watch him do his sales thing, they would start taking notes because he would lead by example. He would show them, not just tell them, this is how it's done. He would actually show them, this is how it's done. That's leading by example. Number 2, they create clarity and focus. They don't chase 50 different priorities. They pick 3, maybe 4 that actually move the business forward. And then they stay laser focused on those. Have you ever worked for someone who changes direction every other week? It's more like chaos, not leadership. Level 3 leaders bring stability through consistency. Okay, number 3. They build systems that produce results. They know how to measure what matters. They track sales, customer satisfaction, team performance. They don't just look busy. They measure progress. What gets tracked gets improved. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I've heard that most of my career. Number 4, they celebrate the wins. A level 3 leader knows how to create small victories that keep the team motivated. You can't just push and push and push without pausing to recognize progress. That is how burnout happens. And finally, they take ownership. There's no finger pointing, no excuses. When someone fails, they own it. When it succeeds, they share the credit. That kind of ownership earns respect, and respect fuels influence. Now, before we jump in and start chasing results, Maxwell gives us a warning. There's a few traps at this level. The first trap is overvaluing results. It's easy to get so focused on production that you forget about people. You start treating employees like cogs in a machine instead of the human beings they are. The irony? That's how you lose the very momentum you worked so hard to create. Second trap, neglecting relationships. Remember, you can't live in level 3 without keeping level 2 alive. If your team doesn't feel valued, they won't give you their best work. And the third trap is losing balance. Leaders who chase results without really resting eventually, they crash. They burn out. Their teams burn out, and the culture turns toxic. So while results matter, people matter more, because at the end of the day, healthy people produce healthy results. Okay, so why is this level so important for business owners? This is the level that separates owners from operators. If you're consistently putting out fires, if you're working 60 hours a week and your team can't seem to get things done without you, chances are you're stuck below level 3. At this stage of leadership, your focus has to shift from doing to producing. Stop measuring effort, start measuring impact. You start tracking the right numbers like profit, customer retention, employee development. And once you get traction here, you'll notice something very powerful. Your team starts to believe in you. Your customers start trusting your business. And your organization begins to run with a rhythm that feels almost effortless. This is also where your credibility as a leader, it skyrockets. Because now you're not just saying what needs to be done, you're showing it through results. And for many business owners, this is the point where they finally get their time back. Why? Because when you lead effectively at level 3, your system produce, your people perform, and the machine runs. That's when the business starts working for you instead of you working for the business. So, how do we grow as a level 3 leader? How do you move into or strengthen your leadership at level 3? Here's 6 practical things Maxwell teaches, and I'll translate them as best I can into plain business terms. Number 1, you need to own the results. No excuses. If something's not working, take responsibility for it. The minute you stop blaming others, you start gaining control. Number 2, develop self-discipline. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself. Protect your own time. Guard your focus and stay consistent. This number 2 thing, sometimes protecting your own self-discipline can be really difficult. How many times have you tried to set up a schedule in the morning of your best day or your best week? Seems like it goes awry pretty quickly. But then you sit there and you go back through and you realize that it only went awry because you didn't protect it. You wound up doing other things that maybe you shouldn't have been doing. Maybe you wound up, instead of looking at your quiet time, instead of going over your schedule for the day, you get stuck in emails, or you get stuck doom scrolling on Facebook or Instagram or whatever social media fits your fancy, TikTok, whatever. You need to have the self-discipline to not do that. I get sucked into that sometimes. There's some mornings when I'm done my quiet time and maybe I got a couple 15 minutes left, 10 minutes left, and I just go on Facebook and I wind up doom scrolling for that whole 15 minutes instead of focusing on my day. It can be difficult, but you got to learn how to lead yourself. You got to have that self-discipline. And if you do go off the rails, you got to be able to refocus as quickly as you realize it. Number 3, focus on priorities that drive the bottom line. Stop trying to do everything. Identify what actually moves the needle and delegate the rest. That's why you have employees, to help you with your vision. Speaking of vision, that's number 4. Clearly communicate the vision early and often. Your team should know what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to achieve, and how success will be measured and what success will look like in your mind. This is the vision I set. This is where we're going. This is where I want it to be. And in order to get there, we're going to measure results to get us there. Mention it early and often. If you only tell the employee the first couple days of their orientation and then never mention it again, do you really expect them to know what your vision actually is moving forward? Where your company wants to go? Where you want to go as an individual? Because your company should be helping you get to where you want to go, not the other way around. Number 5, build momentum with small wins. If your business feels stuck, aim for some short-term victories. Momentum compounds. It's like compound interest for leadership. Instead of saying, hey, at the end of the month, we're going to hit this number and wait till the end of the month to do something, that's not the right way to go about it. Maybe break it down into weekly goals or daily goals even. Hey, every day, in order for us to hit this number or this metric, whatever it may be, at the end of the month, every day we need to be doing this. It's not micromanaging. It's just controlling the controllables. If you see the 29th of the month that you're not going to hit your goals and you need to pivot and do something else, or you need to make more phone calls, that's the wrong time to be pivoting. You should start earlier. Every day you can see where you're going and you can track to see how far off of that metric you're going to be. And you can make a daily decision. What do I need to do today to be able to get us closer to being on track to hit our number by the end of the month? I'm recording this and today is the 9th of October. It's probably going up later on today, I hope. Bottom line is if I waited, if my numbers aren't right, my matrix isn't right, and I'm off course, today would be the time to get back on course. Not when Halloween hits, or not a couple days before Halloween, today. And then every day you have a victory getting closer to or above your matrix, celebrate it. Bring everybody in early the next day or on Friday or a random Thursday. Hey guys, great job this week. Let's keep the momentum going. We're going to celebrate with whatever. Think of something small, but celebrate. And then number 6, you want to surround yourself with producers. You want to hire people who get things done. Energy is contagious. High performers, they lift the standard for everyone else. When you build a culture of ownership and results, leadership becomes easier. Wow, let's say this again. Number 6, you need to surround yourself with producers. You need to hire people who get things done. Energy is contagious, and high performers lift the standard for everyone else. When you build a culture of ownership and results, leadership becomes easier and way more fun. I promise you that. Connecting production to servant leadership. Now we're going to tie this back to servant leadership because that's the heartbeat of how I coach. A lot of people misunderstand servant leadership. They think it means being soft or putting everyone else's needs before the mission. That's not it at all. Servant leadership means taking responsibility for results that benefit your people. Because when your business grows, your team wins. They have stability, opportunity, and pride in what they're building. And then your profits rise so you can reinvest in your people. And when your systems work, everyone's life gets easier. That's what leadership is supposed to look like. Service that produces. Now, we just went through a lot of stuff pretty quickly, I think. 15, 20 minutes here. So let me leave